Nate Adams is my hero. Nate Adams is my hero. Nate Adams is my hero. Nate Adams. Oh, hey Niners, didn't see you there. I think we're supposed to interview Chris Sugai right now, so let's go grab him real quick. What's up, Niners? Welcome to another edition of Inside the Nine here in the Niner Garage. Today we're doing 9 questions with Chris Sugai, head honcho of Niner Bikes. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Tyler.
All right, let's start with just, the big question on everyone's mind, right? Why Niner? History of Niner, why bikes? You could have been the cheese bear in a Fort Collins. What was bikes?
Sure, I had another company that I had started early on, and but a passage that always kind of stuck in my head was do something passionate and never work a day in your life.
Okay.
And in 2004, I decided to take that much more seriously and started hunting around for something that I was very passionate about to start as another business.
Okay.
And I've always been a cyclist my whole life. Started racing BMX when I was younger. Graduated into mountain bikes in the early 90s, and really fell in love with mountain biking. Yeah, I started riding a 29er in 2004, and so during my search, it just sort of was like a light bulb moment of like that was the thing to do, and I don't regret this decision ever, and I would highly encourage anybody to follow your passion. I know it sounds super cliche, but I think working in an industry with people that share the same love that you do is really rewarding. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, think about 2004, right? I mean, 29ers were right on the sort of cutting edge as far as like technology is concerned, right? I mean, that was like
it was a really unpopular bike
early on.
Yeah, it
really
was like less than 1% of the riding population were riding 29ers back then, and especially like just single speeding. I was a heavy single speeder back then. So
awesome. Okay.
I really saw the benefits of the wheel, and
for sure.
Things just kind of fell in place.
Okay. So. Cool. So riding bikes early on. You decided, hey, I want to do something I'm passionate about. Let's start a bike company. Why bikes? Why not wheels? Why not something else? Why not a component? And then what was the first bike?
I did poke around in different things to get into the bike industry, as they say. I looked at a bike shop, obviously. I looked at different components.
Okay.
But I think riding a 29er to me was a very eye-opening experience.
Okay.
And then it was fortuitous. A friend that I would ride with all the time got laid off, and he was a frame designer, so things kind of just came together at that time.
No way.
Yeah, so it just seemed like the right thing. It just kind of fell together like it was supposed to be.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, perfect. And so obviously Niner, 29s only, sort of was the original tagline.
Yeah.
What was that first frame again?
The first bike we designed and made was called a 19.
Okay.
And it was made out of a new material at the time. Easton had developed a new type of aluminum called scandium.
Okay.
And it was a single speed only, so it had no cable housing for derailleurs. It didn't have a derailleur hanger. It was disc brake only, which again back in 2004, most companies were still trying to decide if it was going to be V brakes or disc brakes, and we're offering both options on the frame. But we decided that it was better to go disc only because we figured that was going to be the way of the future. And it also allowed for compliance and other things on the seat stays because of that.
Wow. So you jumped in both feet. I mean, you're talking like a 29er, single speed only, no routing for housing, no derailleur.
Yeah.
Like disc brake only. I mean, that's a big deal. There's most companies really sort of dip their toes in originally, right? Like, we'll make a road bike.
Yeah, no, we went pretty hardcore, and I got definitely a lot of slack that we were never going to make it, and we were crazy to pin all of our future on 29er only. So for the longest time, our tagline was 29ers only, and but it worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. And how's the company going today? I mean, how are we doing here?
We've had a record-breaking year this year for the company. It's been awesome to see riders all over the world enjoying our bikes. Obviously, with the pandemic and the shortages of bikes, it's been a challenge to meet the demands that we've seen. So, but we've been working hard in the background to improve those things, and we've built a great team. We have a lot of passionate people, as you know, on staff, and I think that just makes everything better. So it makes getting through these tough times a lot easier.
For sure. Yeah, it's been great to see the team grow. I mean, adding people as far as like sales staff, operations, engineers, you know, I mean, it's cool to see us growing just even from sort of like behind the scenes a little bit. So that's pretty cool. Okay, cool. So we've talked about the bikes. There's one thing I know that sort of Niner is known for that's not necessarily 29-inch wheels, but is the pedal dammit on the top tube. It's sort of, I'm guessing it's been there since day one, or what's the history? What's the idea behind that?
You know, I can't remember exactly how the whole thing came about. I mean, I know the essence of it was that, you know, again, I was a heavy single speeder back then, and I think anybody that single speeds or anybody that rides has some climbs that they just want to conquer without dabbing. And and I have a few of them, and I just, you know, sometimes you can see the crest of the hill, and your heart is about to come out of your chest, your lungs can't take in any more air, and in a single speed you're just staring at your top tube the whole entire time. So I thought it'd be just funny to put something on there like that. So.
Okay, and it's sort of endured, right? I mean, it's still on all of our bikes, and
yeah, it's kind of become a trademark.
That's
for us,
awesome.
So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so you started the company in California, right? And Southern California, LA area, and you grew up there, and then you decided to move to Colorado. What was the impetus for the move to Colorado? I mean, obviously, being here in Colorado, we know how awesome Colorado is, but what was the idea there?
You know, honestly, it wasn't my idea or anything. It just sort of grew organically. We started in Los Angeles in California, and then we were hiring employees remote. We just wanted to find the best people that were passionate about bicycles, and one of the people we hired was in Colorado, was in Fort Collins. So he worked remotely, and then we found another person that was in Colorado in Fort Collins. So we got a small office. I mean, like a 500 square foot office for two people.
A storage unit.
But you know, that's how you start off when you just have a small business. And then every employee we hired, we said, you know, we have an office in Colorado, we have an office in California, and most people migrated towards the Colorado office. So that's sort of the genesis and the growth pattern. And I remember we had a fairly large office in Los Angeles, and all the employees had migrated to Colorado. So it was just me and my dog for almost a year, going to the office, you know, empty until the lease ran out. And then obviously myself and my family migrated here to Colorado as well.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, nothing against Southern California, right? Gotta love that area.
It's a great city. But
Colorado, amazing riding here.
When you talk about the mecca of cycling, it's hard to beat.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah. So, you know, we've got to ask, you have seen everything from the beginning, right? Aluminum, scandium single speed, rigid, disc brakes. It's tough to quantify, like every bike is so different because in 2009, a bike's gonna be really specific to that time. 2014, a bike's gonna be really specific to that time. But I'm curious, do you have a bike that sort of stands out as like, oh my God, I remember that one bike, full suspension, hardtail, whatever it was, that I just loved. It was my favorite bike that we've ever made.
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot, like what's my favorite bike? But I think, you know, I've always been a fan of steel, and I've always had a hard time sort of conveying why steel is such a great material, and it's one of those things you kind of just have to experience.
Totally.
But once you do, it kind of sings to you.
Yeah.
And you know, I think the first Surnine we made with a rigid fork that was made out of Reynolds steel still harkens back to kind of my just simple, pure bike riding experience.
Awesome.
Which, I think that one will always stick in my mind as one of my favorites.
Okay, original Sur. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, obviously, Sur, steel is real.
Yes.
You know, I mean, so the adage stays true, right? I mean, even to this day, right? It still proves.
And we spent a lot of time, you know, trying to redevelop that bike and make it more modern and, you know, get the most out of the material. So that's still fun, trying to see what you can do with that material, and people still looking at that when we're doing things in carbon fiber and titanium and magnesium, you know, that, you know, we're still harkening back to this metal that, you know, bikes started with back in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's still relevant.
And it's so cool how versatile it is, I think. You know, I mean, we have our gravel bikes that we can do a steel frame out of. We have our mountain bikes. You can do geared, you can do single speed. I mean, you can really just like, sort of the world is your oyster with that frame and frame material, right? I think that's so cool. All right, so, you know, we've talked about some of the history and the bikes. You know, I feel like Niner's always been known for not weird, but just like a little bit quirky, just a little bit further afield than maybe the super mainstream double diamond triangle. You know, we've always had, first bike was a single speed disc brake 29er. We've got the MCR in the lineup right now. We've had some kind of funky stuff. What's the genesis of that? What, how did you come up with some of those different ideas that like, hey, there's this untapped market of something that's a little bit different. It's not just a full suspension 26-inch cross-country race bike. It's a Scandium 29er single speed. It's a full suspension carbon gravel bike.
Yeah. Early on when we first started, it was, just myself and a few other people. But now that the company has grown and, we're all full of cyclists and passionate cyclists. So ideas come from, far in the field. Okay. And sometimes you just ride and you just kind of feel like, hey, this could be improved. I think like the gravel full suspension, that, riding on different terrain where it's really rocky or really rough, that I think a rider can really benefit from some suspension, especially when it comes to grip levels and cornering and stuff like that. So it's taken a while to catch on, but we're sort of used to waiting for the market to sort of catch up.
I think that's what's so cool about the bike like the MCR, or even that first 1.9, right? As everyone, there's bikes out there, people are riding them already, and you come out with this idea or this new thing, or Niner does, and it's so unique that it really takes people a while to sort of like, man, this is cool. I mean, listen, single speeding isn't that cool, but it's still super fun, right? Yeah. It puts a smile on your face. We all know that. And I think that's the way the MCR is. It's a weird bike and it maybe takes a long time to get some traction, but man, is it a blast to ride. It's so fun to be able to just ride along the pavement and then dive off into some single track and
it's one of those bikes. Yeah, I think you get it once you ride it.
Yeah.
On paper, you're kind of people still kind of scratch their heads about it.
Totally.
But it just takes time.
Yeah, that just takes time. I like that. And I think it's sort of the ethos around here too. I mean, some other products that I think one of the things that I've noticed with the YAWYD Top Cap that I want to talk about is I feel like it's almost gained this sort of cult following with not even Niner riders, as people will go out and they'll buy one or find one just to represent their favorite brand. Can you tell us a little bit about the YAWYD and what it is, how it came to be? And
Sure. Well, that came about kind of I can't remember about the year, but I think it was around, I don't know, somewhere in the early 2000s. It was really popular, especially in the single speed community, to have like a beer bottle opener on your bike.
Yeah.
Some kind of bottle opener. So it was either, on the derailleur hanger incorporated in there or somewhere. So we were kind of looking for a spot, like where could we put one on that, because, okay, it's already been done here. It's already been done there.
Yeah.
And so literally, I was, going around the bike with a bottle cap thinking about like where you could place it.
Okay.
And then, I got to the top cap and I was like, look at that. It fits perfectly on the top cap. So I thought, let's not make a bottle opener. Let's make a place to put your bottle cap after you've opened it. And, it just so happened that we did a quick patent search and nobody had thought of it or tried to patent it. And so that's sort of how the whole thing came about.
That's awesome.
So it's been a fun little item, and I think at the end of the day, it just brings a lot of joy to riders. You look down, see your favorite brewery down there.
That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
Perfect. And for those that don't know, what does YAWYD stand for?
You are what you drink.
Okay, perfect. So. Awesome. That's great. Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool for me personally to sort of browse Instagram. I see YAWYD Top Caps on, certainly not on just Niners. They're sort of on tons of different people's bikes. Because like you said, it's really fun to represent your favorite beverage, whether it's an old adult beverage or it's, Coca-Cola or, whatever the case may be, right?
No, it's nice to see that it brings smiles to a lot of riders' faces.
Yeah, exactly. You can represent your own special flavor. If you had to choose one bottle cap, what would it be? Lifetime bottle cap?
I don't drink anymore, so I'm not really into the craft brewery scene. So I have like a Pellegrino.
No, so fancy. Very nice.
And then, I do have New Belgium. I really appreciate the support that New Belgium's given to the Fort Collins community.
Yeah,
as far as donations and the riding community. So I like to support them as well and encourage others, to support New Belgium because they are a true cycling brewery.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I guess with the Pellegrino top cap, does it get hard riding with your pinky out all the time because you're so fancy?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Just kidding. And last but not least, let's talk about your personal bike. So I know you've been riding one of the RLT E9 RDOs, but I think it's cool. Each of us has our own little personality sort of come out in the bike. So how do you have yours set up?
I would like to tinker with the bike. So I currently have mine set up with a flat bar, and then I have the Fox front suspension fork set up on it.
Okay,
and,
awesome.
racks, and I use it as my daily commuter to work. Some of the other bikes I like to ride, I use the Jet as my trail bike for most of the local trails here.
Okay, new Jet. Sweet.
And then I like to ride the new WFO RDO at the bike park. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so obviously 2021, 22 to Jet 9 RDO, same with WFO. Those are great, great bikes for mountain biking. With the RLT E9, yeah, I mean, I think it's great. You did the flat bar conversion on it. We obviously designed it around front suspension fork. So pretty cool to see that, like, we see a lot of them out there stock. You've flipped the script on it a little bit. You've got racks, fenders. What a great commuter, right?
Yeah, no, it's a really fun commuter. I really enjoy ripping through some of the single track on the way to work. So,
and again, kind of like MCR, like we talked about, right? It's awesome to be able to like rip down the bike path and then like, oh man, that's rad single track. I've got the fork, I've got the brakes, flat bar, dip off onto the single track. On
and we're really fortunate, you know, in Fort Collins, it's really easy to commute to and from work because there's bike paths everywhere, and bike trails all around the city. So,
Cool. Well, listen, Chris, thanks a lot. I know, you know, taking a bunch of time out of your day is pretty big for you. So thanks for stopping by. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Listen, thanks everyone for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps us out. If you didn't catch our interview with Nate Adams, you can find that probably over here. And we will see you out on the trails.